Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Desmond Z. If this is the first time that you've ever seen me, I am here today talking to you about books that I've recently read. Some good, some not so good. Also, I've DNF'd quite a few books. What else is new? And they've been like some pretty hyped up books. And I know people always say, oh, hyped up books. People talk about these books all the time. They're not good. People talk about the same things over and over again. Blase, blase, blase. Sometimes I read really like hyped up books and I am not let down. And I'm like, oh, I see what the people talking. I see what the people is chitting and chatting, baby, because it was good. And then, sometimes they just don't be for you. And lately they have just not been for me. So let's just get into it, okay? Blue Sisters by Coco Mellers. I have heard a lot about this book. I was really excited to read this book. I could not wait to get my hands on it. And I thank God, I thank sweet baby Jesus that I did not purchase it, okay? The book buying ban wins yet again. The three Blue Sisters are exceptional and exceptionally different. Avery, the eldest and a recovering heroin addict, turned straight-laced lawyer, lives with her wife in London. Then we have Bunny, a former boxer who works as a bouncer in Los Angeles, following a devastating defeat. And then Lucky is the youngest. She models in Paris while trying to outrun her hard partying ways. Okay, a year after the fourth sister dies, they're all supposed to be coming back together because the parents decide to sell their childhood like apartment or whatever. And so they're all in different parts of the world, dealing with this death in their own way. I think I was like, how far along did I get? Let me see, cause I don't wanna lie. I don't wanna lie. Nothing in the world could take us back to where we used to be. I don't know what chapter I stopped on in Blue Sisters, but I was probably like 25% in or something like that. I can't remember. First of all, the chapters are crazy long. I hate a long chapter book. I hate it. Like, I know in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. Like, even if they broke it up into smaller chapters, the book would still be the same length. But it's just something psychologically. It's just something about a chapter that's just that long versus multiple short ones. It makes a difference. It just does. It does. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. It does. But I was bored. Long chapter, short chapter, no matter what. Like the subject matter, I was bored. Like there were bits and pieces where I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I'm interested or whatever. But for the most part, it was the bored outweighed the interesting parts, and I was just like, I'm not gonna stick around. I won't. You can't make me. So that's the whole reason why I DNF'd it. It was like you got three sisters dealing with the death of a sister in their own way. But I just, in the end, I didn't care. It was a lot of telling. That's what it really was. You know how you hear people say, oh, this book, there's a lot of telling instead of showing. That's basically what it was. It was, oh, Nikki had done this and Nikki had done that. Da 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 da. Oh, what was the other one? Lucky did this and she did that. Da da da. Instead of there being like action, instead of there being, more interactions and all that. It was just, it was too. I didn't care anymore, so I left. And that's all it is. So still check it out. It might be for you. A lot of people love it. I just was one who didn't. The next book that I DNF'd was Here One Moment by, what's her name? Leanne something. I'll put it up here on the screen. Just know I DNF'd this book as well. And I know the author of this book also wrote what was it? Big Little Lies? Big Little Lies is what she wrote. And that got turned into a TV show with Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, and some other people. Hero Moment is about a group of people, a plethora of people, okay? A bunch of folks. They are all on a plane ride from some city in Australia to another city in Australia. A lady gets up on the plane and she starts going down the aisle, and she stops at each passenger on this plane, and she tells them the age and how they will die. The age they will be when they're going to die, and how they shall perish. She goes from one to the next, and we're dealing with the aftermath of it. We're dealing with, how people respond to this crazy lady on the plane telling them you're gonna die at 97 from a heart attack. You're gonna die at 23 from being beat down on the street on the way to the grocery store and things of that nature. I made a bookmark, at 35%, and I had been listening for 6 hours. You telling me that for 6 hours and I'm only at the 35% mark and ain't nothing happened other than this lady telling these people that how and when they're going to die? 6 hours. It was probably actually shorter because I don't listen at speed 1 because who does that? But all that time spent and I had hours to go, and you telling me that that's the only thing that happened? That's the only thing that had happened at 35% in was just this lady telling these people how they were gonna die. This book was written to be turned into a TV show, and I know she's a big time author, and Big Little Lies is this huge success. And when I went down to Miss Google and I looked it up, I saw that the rights to this book had already been bought to be turned into a TV show, and I knew it. I knew right then and there. Now, I ain't saying it's 100% true. I ain't saying it's a fact. But it's like you can tell sometimes when a person knows that they shit gonna get bought and it's gonna get turned into a TV show or a movie. And I ain't mad at you. Because the day mine get published, I want my shit to be turned into a TV show, big time movie, and I want all the coins. You feel me? There were so many small things that didn't really matter. And I know in books, that's what we look for most times. Most times you get the more detailed version versus a TV show or movie where you get a lot of stuff cut out. But at the same time, we don't need every single detail. There was so many scenes where it was just like, what is this for? And I know we're building up to this, we're building up to that. Like, don't take me too slow. Don't take me too fast, but please don't take me too slow, okay? I need some action. And I wasn't getting none. It was like I spent all this time and ain't nothing happened. Get to the point already. So I was bored out of my mind with that, but I probably will go back to that because I do want to see how it ends. I mean, I've read books like that. Some people were comparing it to The Measure. We all know how much I love The Measure. And, somebody tells you this is how you're going to die and this is when you will die. And whether you believe them or not, I feel like that will affect you in some way. It'll bring on that existential crisis or type of questions where you wonder, what am I doing with my life? Am I doing the right thing? Am I spending too much time on the wrong thing with the wrong people? Things like that. I have questions like that run in and out of my head all day, every day, basically. It's just like you're always wondering, what if? So, yeah, I do enjoy things like that, but it's just like it was moving me too slow. And I was just like, oh, my ear is itching. And I was like, I don't care. So I probably will go back to that. But god damn, girl, we need to pick up the pace. Okay, one that I actually finished, and I just read this one, actually last night is when I finished it. And it's called Next of Kin by Kia Abdullah, and it was released in 2022. This book is about Layla. She receives a call from her brother-in-law, and he's asking her, hey, can you take Max to the nursery because I just had an emergency at work. Max is her nephew, his son, and he's married to her sister. And so she was supposed to drop Max off, right? But something happened, and she forgot him in the back of the car. And so she races out to the parking garage, and she realizes she's done something horrible. She's put on trial for the death of Max. I feel like that's not a spoiler because that's basically how you set the book up. So I'll just go ahead and tell you that the baby dies, and now there's a trial going on, and it splits this family up. We have sister versus sister, then we got the brother-in-law involved, and we have Layla, her husband is also involved, and this whole courtroom drama going on. We talk about motherhood, we talk about family, and the rights and wrongs, the gray areas and all of that. And this is like a thriller or whatever. I enjoyed quite a few parts of this. There are parts where I was like, okay. And it felt a bit, I was like, this is kind of childish in a way. But for the most part, I was entertained. It held my attention, and I read it all mostly in one go. I took a few breaks, but I read it in one day. And it was good. I enjoyed it. I'm still kind of torn on how I feel about some of the twists and turns in the book. And While I won't say, oh, this book is bad because I didn't like the way it ended, because I've talked about that before. Like, I'm trying to get away from saying, oh, I hated this book because of how it ended. But I enjoyed most of the ride, but I'm still kind of torn on how I feel overall with the ending and with some other twists and turns that the author threw in there. I was just like, was this actually necessary? This is it kind of ruined the mood, the moment for me. I won't say it was a bad book because of some of the twists and turns. It just, sometimes I wish some of them didn't happen. And yeah, that's it. I think it was a pretty good read, and I would recommend it to people. This next book is called Innocent Intent by Casey Mills. I have not finished this book, but it's not a DNF. I just walked away from it for the moment. I've gotten like 35% through it. I don't know much about this author at all, but from what I've read, she's published a lot of other books, and this is her first like traditionally published book. And this is about a woman becoming the prime suspect of her husband's murder. And she's a criminal psychologist. I was on my way into slump territory. I was headed into slump town. I was on my way to DNF everything I picked up. And so I was like, you know what, let me stop. Let me bag up. Let me hold off, because I feel like some of these might actually be good, but my brain ain't ready to process a book right now. So I don't really have any strong feelings on that, because I feel like I just wasn't in the right state of mind when I was reading that. And also I just feel like, where have all the good books gone? Where are they at? I feel like 2024 has been shit for me personally. I just feel like it's been so up and down, topsy-turvy. I have not had a good streak of hits back to back at all this year. I feel like I've gotten in a good, you know what, I take that back. There were a few times where I've gotten in a good stride. I take that back. But overall, I feel like the last couple of years far outweighed, like, and that's all I want is just good books. And I'm not saying they're not out there. I'm just personally, I have not found a lot of them back to back consistently that I've enjoyed. And I just need that. I really do need that. I really do. I need it. I need that. I need it. I want it. I want it. I want it. I got it. I got it. Wait, that's not how that song goes. I got motherfucker. You know what I love. When you push me over, I go every time. There's a part in there where she goes, says, I need it, I want it, I want it. I can't get it, I'll get it later. Go ahead and hate on me, hater. What I got, I paid for. The Haters. This book is by Robin Harding. And This is about Cameron Lane. She living a dream, right? She just published her first book. And then she gets a nasty email, right? She get an email and they tell her, girl, basically what you have done is disgusting, it's nasty, it's low down, you gutter snipe tramp. It's basically what they saying to her, right? Because she's like a high school counselor, and she writes a novel. It talks about like troubled teenagers. Like the main character of the book is a troubled teenager, and it also has other troubled teens in the book. And they're saying you basically, stole your student stories and put them in your book for money and fame and all that blase, right? And so she gets obsessed because this person doesn't just send her one email, they start taunting her. And she gets obsessed with finding out who this is. And because it's like, oh, this isn't just a bad review. This person is literally trying to ruin me. And this is my debut novel, and they're trying to ruin my career before it even gets started. So I enjoyed this. I did indeed. And it actually surprised me. You ever have a book and you're like, you read a book and it's like, I feel like I shouldn't have enjoyed that. I feel like normally I wouldn't have enjoyed that, but somehow I did. And I did. This is a love it or hate it book, because I feel like if this book would have caught me on a different day at a different time, I probably would have hated it. The main character is neurotic. It gets to the point where you'd be like, girl, you doing too much. I need you to calm down. It's a very annoying character. She gets neurotic, and it's just, if this was a real person, I would have cussed her out a long ass time ago if she was someone that was in my life, even just in a minuscule way. If she was just a coworker that I passed by every now and then, I would have cussed that lady out. I promise you, because she just goes off the deep end trying to find out who is taunting her. The plot, the book that I've reviewed before, think of like Yellowface, but there's no person impersonating somebody else of a different race, but it's that type of book within a book, and things go wrong, and it talks about like, you know, the book reviewer space and why authors should stay out of it. But then like, people taunting authors and things like that, taking it too far, crossing the line, which we know can happen as well. So it's very meta type of thing, especially if you're in the bookish space. But overall, I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I would say if you're reading it and the character gets to be like, and you find yourself cussing at the pages, like what the fuck is going on here, you put it down. Just put it down and walk away. I don't blame you, because yeah. I'm also currently, like today, like right before I press record on this video, on this camera, I was reading Blood Debts. I've talked about that book when I was like, oh, all the books on my bookshelf that are read versus unread, blase, blase, blase. And I was telling y'all the story about how I went through hell and high water trying to get the book. I finally started that up again. So far, so good. This time I'm enjoying it a lot more than I was the first time around. So we'll see how it goes. I hope I really enjoy it overall, and then maybe I can get to the second one. Because I know how I feel about, you know, some things that lean more towards fantasy and all that. You know, I always go, so, you know, it ain't been a smooth ride for me up in the fantasy streets, okay? So hopefully this can literally turn a new page for me, and I can get on the fantasy bandwagon with the rest of the girls, because, you know, y'all be on it. But yeah, it's hot up in here. Oh my God, I'm sweating up in this bit. I feel like I'm just rambling now. I don't know what else I need to talk about. What else do I need to talk about? Yeah, that's it. I feel like now I'm really about to just start rambling and talking about a bunch of different shit that I just don't need to ramble about. But that's it for me. Those are some of the books that I recently read, some of the ones that are DNF, some of the ones that I'm interested in. It's just a whole concoction, a whole jumbled mixed mess of the literary things going on up in here. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, for whatever it was. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you are not subscribed. I will see you in my next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.